everyone. You ever notice how quick we are to spill the beans the moment something starts going right in our lives? You get a new job opportunity, start a business idea, meet someone special, or finally feel like you're healing from something, and boom, you're telling your friends, your family, your followers. Maybe it's excitement, maybe it's pride, maybe you just want someone to say, wow, I'm happy for you. But here's the catch. Not everyone who hears your story is clapping for you. Sharing too soon can feel good in the moment, like scratching an itch. But what it really does is open the door to opinions, energy, and judgments that can shake your confidence before your foundation is even dry. It's like baking a cake and opening the oven every 5 minutes to show someone how it's rising. It won't rise. Some things need silence to grow. They need stillness, they need protection. Think about a seed. You don't yank it out of the soil every day to show someone how it's doing. You water it, give it sunlight, and trust it's doing its thing underground. That's how your goals work too. That's how your healing works. That's how your progress works. And sometimes the people you share with aren't even trying to hurt you. But their words, their doubts, their, are you sure that'll work? Or that's a tough field. Or even just a raised eyebrow can plant little seeds of hesitation in your mind, seeds that weren't there before. You end up carrying other people's fears when you should be focused on your own faith. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself or never open up. It means you learn the timing. You learn to recognize the difference between sharing for support and sharing for validation. You learn to hold things close until they're strong enough to stand on their own. So the next time you're about to post that update or tell someone about a big move you're making, ask yourself, am I sharing this because it serves my progress or because I want a reaction? If it's the second one, take a breath. Smile, keep watering your garden, let it bloom first, then share the whole damn bouquet. Some people aren't clapping for you, they're just watching. Not everyone who smiles in your face wants to see you win. That's a hard pill, but once you swallow it, you'll start protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because in some ways it does. Your peace, your passion, your focus, those things can get eaten alive by the wrong company. Energy is real. It's not just some spiritual buzzword. You ever walk into a room and feel heavy for no reason? You were fine before, but suddenly you're anxious, doubting yourself, second-guessing everything. That's not your gut, it's energy. It's the people in that room. It's their doubts, their jealousy, their unresolved issues bleeding into your atmosphere. And when you overshare with the wrong ears, you invite that energy into your plans, into your dreams, into your spirit. Let's say you tell someone you're starting a new business. You're excited, full of vision, ready to work, but the person listening has failed before, gave up on themselves a long time ago. They don't say it directly, but their questions are loaded. Isn't that market saturated? Are you sure people will buy that? Don't most new businesses fail? That's not advice. And if you're not grounded, you'll start shrinking. Not because your idea isn't good, but because someone else can't see what you see. And instead of climbing, you stall. All because you let the wrong voice in. That's why protecting your energy is not about cutting people off, it's about filtering access. You don't need to build walls, but you do need gates. Not everyone gets a front row seat to your process. Some people belong in the balcony. Some don't even need a ticket. Your energy is your currency. Every conversation, every interaction is either an investment or a withdrawal. Be honest. Are the people around you charging your battery or draining it dry? Are you energized when you leave them or exhausted? You've got things to build, places to grow, and peace to protect. That requires discernment. That requires choosing silence over noise and clarity over approval. You're not being secretive, you're being wise, because where you're going You can't afford to carry dead weight dressed as support. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom dressed in calm. We live in a world that constantly rewards noise. Post it, tweet it, announce it, document it, validate it. But real power, real transformation, that doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens behind the curtain. In the still moments when no one is watching, no one is clapping, and no one is expecting anything from you but you. Think of a butterfly. It doesn't become what it is in front of an audience. It transforms in a dark cocoon, completely alone, completely still. And when it emerges, it doesn't explain itself, it just flies. That's what silence gives you. It gives you the space to become. When you stay silent, you listen deeper to your own voice, your own intuition, your own rhythm. You stop reacting to noise and start responding to purpose. And it's in those quiet moments that clarity shows up. That's where your best ideas are born, your truest thoughts form, and your real self rises. Sometimes the reason we feel overwhelmed or scattered is because there's too much input, too many opinions, too much feedback, too much pressure to show up before we're ready. But when you go silent, even briefly, you cut through the static. You give yourself time to think, to reset, to choose your next move from strength, not survival. And let's not get it twisted. Being silent isn't the same as being passive. It's not about hiding or shrinking. It's about holding your power instead of giving it away through endless talking, explaining, justifying. You don't have to narrate every chapter of your life while you're still writing it. Let the story unfold, let the results speak. Have you ever noticed how the most grounded people aren't the loudest? They're the ones who speak with calm, not because they have less to say, but because they've already said it to themselves. They're not chasing attention, they're building something real. So take your silence seriously. Protect it like a sacred ritual. Use it to recharge, reflect, and rise. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who've spent time in the quiet, sharpening their vision, owning their truth, and when they finally speak, every word lands. Your peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not something you enjoy only when everything in life is perfect. It's something you protect no matter how chaotic the world gets. Because if you lose your peace, you lose your clarity, your focus, and your connection to who you are. And once that's gone, everything else starts to fall apart. People will test your peace daily. Some will come with drama, others with demands, and some with energy that just doesn't sit right. You don't need to argue, you don't need to explain, you just need to decide what gets access to your inner calm and what doesn't. That's not cold, that's self-respect. Think about how you feel after being around certain people. Some leave you light, inspired, clear-headed. Others, you walk away drained, second-guessing, anxious, and you can't even explain why. That's your peace being disturbed. And the more you ignore it, the more it chips away at your well-being. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries without guilt. It means saying no when your body says it's tired, when your soul says it's too much, when your mind needs silence. It means walking away from conversations that only spark tension, from situations that dim your light, from people who confuse your kindness for access. And sometimes it means protecting your peace from yourself, from overthinking, from replaying old memories, from trying to control every detail. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to have your calm. That's where strength lives. Imagine trying to steer a ship in stormy waters. You need to stay centered. That's what your peace does. It keeps you from crashing when life throws waves. It's your anchor, and no one else is responsible for holding it in place but you. So stop explaining why you're guarding your space. Stop apologizing for not entertaining chaos. You're not being difficult, you're being deliberate. Because your energy is sacred. Your joy is sacred, your time is sacred, and if someone can't respect that, they don't belong in your closed circle. Choose peace over pressure, choose calm over chaos, and watch how much more powerful your life becomes when your spirit isn't constantly under attack. People will believe what they see long before they believe what they hear. That's why results speak louder than words. You can talk about your plans all day. You can tell people what you're going to do, how hard you're working, how much you've changed. But until something shows, most of them won't feel it. And truth be told, you don't need them to, because real success doesn't shout, it shows up. There's a quiet confidence in just doing the work and letting the outcome do the talking. Let your discipline be the loudest thing in the room. Let your growth make the noise. Let your results announce your arrival. Because when you truly start rising, people feel it, even if you don't say a word. They see it in your habits, in your focus, in your consistency. You don't need to post about it, prove it, or prove yourself. Look around you. Some of the most successful people didn't talk their way there. They walked it. They moved in silence, worked behind the scenes, got rejected, failed, tried again, and never needed to convince anyone that they were on their way. They just showed up when it mattered. That's the energy you want to carry. No fluff, no show, just fire beneath the surface. Sometimes we talk too much about what we're doing because deep down we want someone to believe in it. Or worse, we're still trying to convince ourselves. But when your heart is in the work and your focus is locked in, you stop needing external validation. You let your results be your voice. Think of the gym. You can say you're getting fit, buying gear, taking selfies, but the real story is told in the mirror, in the grind, in the sweat no one sees. That's how life works too. People remember what you did, not what you planned to do. So be patient. Let your progress unfold like a sunrise. No noise, no announcement, just undeniable light. And when the world finally sees what you've been building in silence, they'll realize you weren't just talking, you were becoming. That's the difference between hype and truth. One disappears, the other leaves a mark. You don't owe anyone a front row seat to your healing. You don't have to explain the pain you've been through, the lessons you've learned, or the changes you're making. Growth is personal. Healing is personal. And it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like distancing yourself, saying less or pulling away, not because you're cold, but because you're reclaiming your space. There's power in keeping parts of yourself sacred while you're working through them. You don't have to bleed in public just to prove you're hurting. You don't need to unpack your trauma in conversations that don't feel safe. Not everyone deserves access to the most tender parts of your story. Some people only want details, not understanding. Some want gossip, not growth. Healing requires safety. It requires silence. It requires solitude sometimes. And you don't find that by constantly exposing your wounds to people who haven't earned your trust. You find it by going inward, by creating your own peace, by choosing what and who gets to be part of your process. Not every scar needs a story, and not every step needs an audience. When you're healing, you're rebuilding. And just like a broken bone doesn't heal stronger by being poked and questioned daily, your emotional healing doesn't thrive when it's constantly being dissected. It needs room, it needs breath. It needs to happen in an environment where you can be real, not perform. People may ask what happened. They might be curious about why you're different, why you're quieter, why you're more selective. Let them wonder. You're not cold, you're careful. You're not distant, you're intentional. That's a sign of growth, that's strength. And when you finally come out of that season, you won't need to explain it. People will feel it in your energy, in your peace, in the way you move differently, speak differently, carry yourself with quiet power. That's what healing looks like. It's not loud, it's not a show. It's a transformation that doesn't beg for attention, it demands respect. So take your time, hold your heart close, protect the parts of you that are still mending. You're allowed to keep that sacred. You're allowed to heal in private and then return in power.